You're listening to Consulting Logistics presented by Aborn & Company. I'm your host, Kyle McNaught. Thanks for checking us out. So this episode's going to be a little different than I usually do. Partially because the guest had to move dates, but also because I've been asked a couple of times recently about starting a podcast. So I just kind of wanted to give the lowdown on what I'm doing to record. And FYI, this is just my podcast setup for right now. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. It's just what I have. And typically when I work, it's on a tighter budget. So I'm trying to make do with every tool I have at my disposal, but I'm not saying what I use is the best or cheapest. It's just kind of what works for me. So if you're watching this visually on our YouTube version, you'll see that there's a video and I'm looking at a computer. I typically write up my scripts, so that's sort of what I'm reading off of right now. The interviews, as you probably know, if you're a regular listener, I don't write them nothing. So that's why I'm over here, but there is a real good reason that I'm doing the video recording. So that'll come a little bit later. But yeah, back to kind of what I'm thinking about, right? Honestly, when it comes down to doing podcasts, if you have a smartphone like this, right? I'm recording right now, but if you have a smartphone, you got a recorder and you can push out a podcast today. So just do it. Honestly, some of my favorite podcasts have some of the worst audio quality I've ever heard, but I enjoy the topic. I enjoy the host. I enjoy the personalities and the content alone, that I can kind of listen past it and really just enjoy the stuff. And it doesn't require having the best of the best. It's just wanting to go and do and be energized. Now, don't get me wrong. You should have good audio. It's actually been proven, the fun stat, that someone's going to turn off a pristine video if the audio levels are just garbage, right? So overmodulated, something like that. Or if it's staticky, that. And think about it, right? If you had a crappy video, like a grainy video from the 90s that you usually see, but the audio is awesome, you're willing to watch it. I mean, it's half the fun, right? It's like, okay, look at how bad the audio video is, but the audio sounds great. But when's the last time you really sat through just horrible audio? People don't. It's one of those weird things, and especially with podcasting, right? It's going into your into your ear, it's into your body. Where video, you're kind of watching it outside. So don't get me wrong when I say you can do it right now. You definitely can. Be aware of your audio. And some of the ways you kind of do that is just making sure that you're shooting in a good location, right? Don't be recording your podcast in the middle of rush hour in the subway in an echo chamber. Personally, I actually like a little bit of outside noise when I'm recording. As you guys know, I get distracted by ambulance. I get distracted by people talking in the background. I think it's fun, but it's also part of what the element of this podcast is. We are live. We are kind of more or less on a floor in a working environment. So us talking and that type of stuff happens. I'm not against it because I'm not really editing. I'm not really doing much. And it's a conscious decision I'm making. It's not just me being lazy, believe it or not. So don't be afraid of having that type of stuff, but be aware that a ton of background noise can be an issue. So if you're doing a podcast that's super production heavy, you're kind of cutting a lot and stuff like that, you can have sort of jump cuts, things where if you have someone talking in the background and you can hear them loud enough and you personally want to cut out what you're saying, can be an issue because someone could clearly hear that you're making cuts if that's something that bothers you. And the background noise can definitely be distracting, especially if you're doing an interview style. And then lastly, it's fun, right? I've got this little video right here. I'm going to showcase all the equipment I'm using, kind of where I get all that stuff. But before I get into that, know that Google is your best friend. The amount of times someone comes to me with a question about podcasting that I just figure out with a Google search, a really quick one, is insane. And I'm not even going deep in the Googles either. Usually the answer is above the fold. Just watch out for the ads. All right. But the best part is you don't need to know the exact thing you're looking for. I mean, I type all the time, my dummy question and literally how I think I'm typing into Google, what to do if audio recording is too loud, or how do I connect my mixer to a Mac, that computer, right? You can type that stuff in. Also, find some people on YouTube. YouTube's great. I particularly like Boone Loves Video. That's Boone Loves Video. really good. They have some free newsletters and stuff. I subscribe to it. And then there's Peter McKinnon. He's got like 4 million subscribers. But a really nice thing with YouTube is you can add videos or add stuff you like to playlist. So I've got a couple personal like playlists on my YouTube, like for editing tutorials, tricks and effects I really like, some examples of stuff I saw that I'm like, that was really dope. I want to do that. I save that type of stuff, and then equipment too. I did use Pinterest for a while, but it's Pinterest. I was just too many mom bloggers were attacking me. I'm just joking. It's just that YouTube I always found easier, and most of the stuff I was looking for was on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, use something like that. Save this stuff. Don't try to remember it because you're never going to remember it. Just you find something cool, quick add, bottom right of the YouTube video. All right, so equipment time. And if you're an audio only listener of this podcast, you're going to want to go to YouTube, because I'm going to kind of take my camera and show you everything, show you how all this stuff works, show you the magic behind it. And there's some things I might be referencing that you won't be able to see. So just search Aborn & Co. on YouTube, or even if you go to our website, so abornandco.com, and click the podcast tab at the top, you'll see the episode with the video. I also do like an individual podcast page. It's under articles. It's a crazy thing. But again, you're going to want to see the video. I'm going to show a bunch of stuff. So here we go. Without further ado, here is what the Consulting Logistics setup looks like. Yeah, let's start it off. Alrighty. So the first thing you have is the mixer. And if you're watching this video, I hope I don't give you like anything too crazy. But yeah, I'm using the Behring XENYX Q1202 USB 12 input 2 bus mixer with USB output. It's good. Fun little thing. It's got 4 inputs, so you can put 4 XLR inputs. It's got another 4, but you can actually end up doing about 12. And these are kind of 1/4 inch type of thing. You get 2 main outs. Easy little leveling system. You got the gain. You can control audio right here. Volumes for headphones and stuff like that. And then just kind of mixing it. Nothing too crazy, not the greatest thing in the world, but it's a USB one. So honestly, super easy, very easy to transport. I mean, it's just, and I'm going a little away from the mic, but you can see it's sitting. I mean, this is my hand on it. So it's not that big of a thing. And it's good. It just helps to have a little more, especially if you're going to do more than one person on your podcast. It's great to have a USB or an XLR input so you can do a decent amount of stuff. Also get yourself, and it's somewhere over here, a mini to 1/4 inch adapter. So that's what I'm kind of showcasing here. Basically what it is it's taking kind of that universal aux cord, right? The aux jack that a lot of people have, and it's getting it so it can go into the mixer. Otherwise, if you have one of these tiny things, and excuse me as I try to find where the heck it went. Here, usual aux cable, right? It's hard to kind of get that in there. So you're going to want headphones. You're going to want to make sure you listen to stuff. Microphone wise, right? We can see everything here. But let me pull out what I actually have. Again, this is what I kind of inherited, but it is an Audio-Technica. My wife's probably cracking up if she ever listens to this because of how horrible I am at pronouncing stuff, but an Audio-Technica AT2020 cardio condenser microphone. This one's about 119 on B&H Photo Video. So I'll try to include links to this. And sorry, I'll go real quick back. The mixer is about 149 right now for $149.99 on B&H Photo Video. B&H, really good place. Tons of equipment and stuff like that. So really, I would say worth it, especially if you are trying to. They deliver free. It's a lot of video stuff. They do a good job. I mean, it's for photo video. So just really helpful, especially if you don't know what you're looking for, because they have the recommended accessories and fun stuff like that. So yeah, got this one. It's not bad. So good thing is it's got the little polarity path that's kind of set up like that. So essentially you just make sure that that's pointing at you. It's just the logo's pointing at you and can talk it. If you are if you're just doing solo podcasting, I would highly recommend. It's something I loved. I've used it in the past, is a Blue Yeti. It allows for stereo cardio, omnidirectional, and bidirectional polar pass, which basically means if you're looking at this, just different ways to record. So it gives you a range of what you're going to do. If you're doing it by yourself, great. You can have the recording that's really just capturing here only, but then it also does the omnidirectional, which is all the way around. It does bi-directional, so it has these different cool ways to record. So you can have someone just sitting across from you. You put one microphone up and you can record. Very easy, nice little cheap way to do it. And that one's about $129 on B&H. So I have two of these little fun guys. And again, they're $119, and then $299 for that Blue Yeti. The microphone stand, as you can see, it's a fun little thing. I've got the newer, and stand by, I'm going to get the better one over here. All right. I'm holding it up for the camera. I have the newer desktop microphone suspension boom scissor arm stand with table mounting clamp. There's a version with a pop filter, which is important, especially if you kind of don't know what you're doing. Pop filter is that little kind of, you ever see like Taylor Swift? I mean, I'm sure you all watched the latest Netflix special with her, but when she has the little stand in front of the microphone, that's what a pop filter is. It makes it so no p really comes through. That's bad. People don't like that. So that's kind of what it's doing. It's taking away the P's and that little popping noise that you make. It's kind of what the windscreen does. But yeah, this extension is pretty nice. Kind of goes to different couple places and stuff like that. I'm showing it on here. But yeah, pretty easy, nothing crazy. It works really nice with this little microphone hookup. So sorry that I'm getting away from the mic. You're probably annoyed at me because I talked all about audio levels and I did that. But yeah, nothing to write home about. Just an easy desktop stand, right? There's plenty of other things you can do. This one's nice because you can kind of move it a little bit more, especially if you're doing a lot of recordings at desk. Because a lot of what I do is like a business recording. And then this real quick that I'm showing in my hand is just what the clamp looks like. Pretty easy. One annoying thing that I found was I clamped way too hard and it got caught. You can see this shouldn't be holding out as much as it is. So just watch out for that, especially on curved edges. This desk is nice because it's not curved and it can kind of just go there and zip up. But yeah, sorry, just moving this around. So you can see how that's all set up. Nothing too crazy. Cables, XLRs. That's what I use. That's what this thing is right here. It's an XLR cable. Let me pull it out so you can see it. It's got this little 3-prong thing. Pretty easy. This is the male end, female end. These are good when you have a mixer. If you don't have a mixer and you can just do the Yeti USB, great, right? The software I use or the software I'll recommend can recognize that. The XLR is just kind of the audio cable. I've got about 2 10-foot long ones. They're less than $20 on B&H. Really easy. I'll send you the kind I like. Just look for what's the easiest, right? These cables are cables, so you always gotta watch out for that. It can be a pain in the butt. Headphones. I'll take it off right now. I have the Audio-Technica AT-HM50X monitor headphones. Love these bad boys. I've legit, like from previous jobs, I've always made sure I've gotten these great over-the-ear headphones. They don't hurt as much. This version comes with like different styles of cable. So as you can see, I've got a rat's nest of cables right now on my desk because I've got my audio one with a little stringy cable. I've got a super, super long, just regular one that I plug into my desktop. And then I have a nice little short one when I don't want to have a rat's nest. Yes, cameras. Well, I'm literally using my iPhone. I'm filming fun. I'm using my iPhone. Why do I do that? Well, it shoots in 4K at 24 frames per second. It looks great. I got the extra storage version of it, so I can shoot in 4K. It's not a big deal. It does color correction and everything you need. It's also so stupid easy to set up and break down. Get yourself a Gorilla Grip like I got. It's nice. You see all the YouTubers like, hi, look at me. I'm doing all this. But What's great is this thing's got a nice little clamp. It can sit, it keeps itself level, so I can just put it down like this and it works. I've got the UB size phone tripod. It's $13.98 on Amazon. Also, for right now, try to record horizontally like I am, right? You don't want to do vertically, because if you do vertically, you got to deal with, it's harder. I'm doing for mainly business purposes, so don't worry too much about recording horizontally. There's a ton of stuff. Research that, look it up on Google. There's reasons why you would want to record it vertically, and that's kind of just how you hold the phone. And there's reasons why you want to do it horizontally. You make the decision. The camera I use, and I think I might have to jump up to show this, but hold on, I'll grab the iPhone to show it. So the camera I use, or the one that you can sort of see me doing the Inception style, is a Canon Vixia, Vixia HRR 800. Super consumer friendly. It's not a prosumer. Shoots in 4K. It's a little too dummy proof for me. The focus is especially hard because it's just a tiny little ring. But you don't need to do video. So I'm telling you what I use, but don't worry about this. If the thought of video scares you the hell out of you, don't worry about it. A lot of people are scared about it. I did a lot of video and it sort of works for me. The consumer version of it's nice because it is a one-man production I do. But again, if I had the unlimited budget, I'd probably do a more prosumer version, or not professional, but something that I have a little more ability to manipulate stuff. But yeah, it's not that bad. And I do the video version of this podcast because, I think it's easier to have a video on in the background than just like a audio. Easier to pause, easier to kind of pay attention to and stuff like that. And given the B2B nature of this podcast, I'm guessing that the bulk of my listeners just happen to listen during either a commute or when they're at their desk. So I'm just trying to provide the easiest possible way to listen. And then B, YouTube's an easier search than podcast right now. So the discoverability of my show is a lot higher. And a lot of people how many people are really searching podcasts, right? Most of the traffic, especially when you're starting out or kind of just doing stuff, comes from word of mouth or referral at the beginning. That's until you start hitting the charts. So I'm just trying to make it so someone searching on Google or YouTube can find me. But yeah, software wise, as you can see if you're looking at the video, I use Audacity. Free software, great to use. Always recommend it. Audacity. And I'll include the links on the show notes. I also use something called Zencastr. Real quick, Audacity is nice because you can export in a file. It's all free. There's no freemium version. It's all just free. Works with Mac, works with all that. Pretty easy at recognizing headphones or microphones and all that stuff. You can do monitoring, you can pause it, you can edit it. It's showing you the levels. Typically, just a quick thing, if you're using this, try to keep your audio levels between 8 and 12. You should never get peak. Here, I'll show you what peak looks like. Sorry for the audio listeners. So peak is when it's hitting this red. Red's bad. As you just heard, there's a reason why red's bad. So yeah, the 12 to 14 is sort of a good audio level. The negative 12, negative 14. I adjusted that with here. So this is, again, what's nice about mixers, right? I don't need to be doing all my mixing on the Audacity. I can do it here, can level out stuff. So if someone talks really close, I can kind of manage their levels. Okay. So what else? Software. Zencastr. That's a free-ish web platform I use. I use that when I'm having guests come on and that it can't be face-to-face, or I can't have them physically with me. Nice. It's cheap. It's free in the sense where there's certain levels you can, a certain amount of hours you can record. And they don't need to download anything. So if you have a guest that's in a different location, you literally send them a link and then they kind of join. Just ensure that when they're joining, and this just comes from my years of live streaming video, have them close out at everything that they possibly can. You don't want emails. You don't want streaming. Essentially, they're pushing their audio up into the internet, and it's going to this one central location that your computer is going to download so you can hear what they're saying. But the upload's the most important thing. So try to make sure they have a hardwired internet. So try to avoid Wi-Fi, especially public Wi-Fi, especially shared Wi-Fi. If you can have them on a dedicated internet line, it's great, because if someone's uploading or someone's watching Netflix at work, first of all, call them out on why the hell you're watching Netflix at work. But second of all, you aren't competing with that internet stream. It's a weird thing, hard to explain, but yeah, it's really important. For editing, the Audacity is great because the exports, you can take that directly and put it all up. I like to have a little more quality control, so I use Premiere Pro. Personally, it's because I'm just a video guy by trade. So I know a little bit of audio and have done some stuff like leveling to understand basics, but I'm always researching. And what's really nice about Premiere is if you have the cloud and the latest version, they have a ton of cool automated tools built in. So you don't really need to have a huge audio engineering background just to make sure your levels are good and nothing's overmodulated. And you can easily even remove like hiss and background noises with just a click of a button. So I use it for video editing of my highlights in the video version too. But again, Premiere Pro is the way I like it. There's plenty of free versions out there. They're not as great. And then kind of typically this will probably take me about 2 hours to get everything edited and exported. Audiograms are if you follow on Instagram, if you see on Instagram, if you don't, shame on you. You should be following me on Instagram. But audiograms are sort of that audio level, kind of as you speak, you're seeing the audio levels. It's kind of a cool way to do some of an image in a shorter time frame and something that you can kind of edit a little bit more. I make those with After Effects. And it's just kind of really a simple waveform. But if you don't have the After Effects skill, the website to use is called audiogram.com. So AUDIOGRAM. It lets you upload your recording, adds a waveform to like a section. So you can upload a 30-minute recording, put a little waveform on it. You don't have to have any technical skills. Very user-friendly, super easy to manipulate. It does cost a little bit of money. And that's kind of why I use After Effects. But again, I just happen to have a lot of background and use of After Effects. Thumbnails are important, especially kind of the different discoverability ways. So I use Canva, CANVA. Great templates, lets you export in any file format you need. Tons of royalty-free images. Big, especially as you're trying to I'm trying to put something out. I also use Unsplash for royalty-free photos, but yeah, Canva. And typically I try to export everything in a 720 by 720 aspect ratio. You can do 1080 by 1080, but yeah, it's on the phone. I mean, 1080, 720, it's all high def, right? Podbean is how I host. All podcast hosting kind of are the same. It really just depends on your needs. I've used Libsyn in the past, tons of good data and tons of rich data, but I don't know. I like Podbean. I use it. It's one of the things I inherited when I came here. I like it. It's not too bad. You can upload direct to YouTube, which is important, especially if I do something where I don't record the video. At least it's giving me a video version, and you can throw it on all the socials you want. Also, the data is easy to digest and understand. So I don't think that you're getting a lot from it. I mean, you're just kind of getting the usual stuff of like where they're from, how many downloads you got. You're not getting the like how they found you and all that stuff. You don't get any psychographics, but it's fine. I have an Excel doc that kind of shows me my averages and my standard deviations of the episode. So I can monitor how they're performing, kind of see my topic levels, stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, thinking about it, I'm looking around. I mean, that's really all I've got. I'm actually even stopping this the iPhone. Yeah, iPhone records in 4K, a little fun thing. I go to iCloud and I have decent amount of storage in there. When you find the video, especially if this was about a 20-minute recording, you're going to want to make sure you record unmodified. How you do that is select the video, then you go to the download. There'll be a little arrow that points down. Click that after you go to download it, and they'll give you the options. Make sure you're recording that, because at least that way you're getting the 4K version. Go into your general settings, by the way, with the phone, and you can go down to your camera and set up your different types of video recordings. Plenty of options. You don't need to do in 4K. You don't need to do 24 speed. You can figure out kind of what works for you. looking around, but yeah, I mean, I think that's it. There's tons of stuff I missed or forgot. So if you like this episode and you want to if you liked the episode or want to know some more stuff or want me to get into the nitty gritty of how I'm doing a couple of things, just let me know. I'd love to do this. It's pretty easy. And this is, again, something I'm passionate about. I'll try to include the links to everything I talked about in the show, and I'll try to include that in the show notes. But if I don't add something, reach out to me. As I said at the beginning, I'm glad to help. Kyle at abornandco.com is my email, or search for me on LinkedIn, Kyle McNaught. I believe it's just linkedin.com/Kyle McNaught, all one word. Again, it's everywhere. It's just look at old show notes. Yeah, but honestly, hit me up if you have questions. And I promise I actually really will. Like, I really enjoy talking about this and answering the stuff, because there's plenty of times where people come to me with a question that's something I didn't think about. It's always good to kind of have that experience and think about what else is out there. What are different ways I can do it? The big thing is just really doing it. If you have a podcast idea, don't say, well, I need to figure out the equipment, or I really need to plan it out. I mean, just go, just get reps, just try things out, measure and look at insights if that really matters to you. And lastly, just have fun with it. If you're not having fun, what's the point of doing this? You still, there's like, if you don't enjoy doing podcasting, there's plenty of other revenues. There's plenty of other avenues too, not revenues, avenues, to do this stuff. So you can make anything. The phone is great. This thing's got so much to it. You can definitely do things. If you want to create content, do it in the digital age. You got enough equipment in your pocket to do it. And I'm going to give you a heads up. The younger generation already knows this. Just look at TikTok. They create all the time. And they're doing it with their phones. They're doing such creative things. So the kids know what's up, and they're always getting more creative in ways that I can't even think of. So just start going. Don't sit there and don't be like, I need this. I need a producer. I need all this stuff. You don't need that. Just go. Just go do stuff. If you need a producer, you will know when you need a producer. Right now, you don't need a producer if you're not doing something. All right, that's it. Again, LinkedIn, hit me up. Email Kyle at abornandco.com if you got more questions. That's ABORN, not the makeup version. That's the show. If you want to be a guest on the show, or you have another topic that you want me to talk about, let me know there, and I'll gladly go out there and start researching it, or bring you on. Or if you have someone that you know should be on, I'll love to talk to them. In the meantime, subscribe to our YouTube channel and watch our videos. If you're interested in the work we do at Aborn, please check out our website at abornandco.com. You'll find past episodes of Consulting Logistics, articles we've written, and you can see what our team can do for you. Again, that's abornandco.com. Thanks for listening to Consulting Logistics. I'm Kyle McNaught. Peace.